figured out that there are some people here that we know real well, and there are some people we're meeting for the first time, and there's some people we feel like we know real well and are meeting for the first time. Hi, Keith. Somebody said and most of all those relationships have either come from mail people have written us, or from a retreat. So, I mean, you're all future great friends. And the relationships with each other, it just seems to happen. I mean, it isn't just about MacDonald's ideas. There's a spirit, there's something there that draws people together, that produces unity, that makes people think. It's just a multivariate thing. I mean, there's one man who was at a couple of the last retreats, couldn't be here to this one. You asked me about it with him, and several people, well, where's so-and-so? And the next time we do this, if we do it again, you know, a lot of you will come again and you'll wonder where so-and-so is. Anyway, it's great. Yes, sir. Every retreat we do is the last. She can tell you it's the last one I've ever done. It's yes, sir.
And he's a righteous dude.
It's well done, it's well written, and it's interesting, and it's well researched. And the chapter on MacDonald is really good. Robin is the most, the highest advanced degree of anybody in our family, a master's from King's College London, where George MacDonald taught. Pretty cool thing. And Gregory's, you know, what a great thing, an outgrowth of the commands and everything that MacDonald taught and that we tried to teach and made in the image of love. It's, I'm really proud of the book. It's a great book, and I encourage you. I think they're gone. I asked him to bring a few.
That one, there's still a few copies.
Are there? Because I just knew it tied in with MacDonald. And he's got a new book coming out in a few months called The Exile, a novel, which just won an award at one of the Pacific Northwest Writers Conferences, and then it's being published. Where's the publisher?
Publishers in Virginia.
Oh. So anyway, these two guys have kind of followed in the family business, and Judy thought it would be interesting to just have us reflect together about what a lot of you have, you know, met MacDonald when you were young and have stayed with him for a long time, and others you've met MacDonald at different times in your lives. And I mean, these guys grew up hearing about MacDonald, and they'll probably say things that we don't even know, we haven't heard, but MacDonald has been with us all these years, and so with that, this was kind of Judy's brainchild. Do you have anything?
Well, there's two things that stand out. One, when we were working on Wisdom to Live By, which is a compilation of quotes from everything, including edited, we weren't on computers yet, and so we did the index, all 5 of us, in the living room at a card table. Everybody had to do 3 quotes a day or something like that, and write down where they were from so that we could create an index. And that took a couple of months. It was a big project.
Having all the edits and all the Sunrise originals, and looking up what page number on what edition the books were, and we all 5 did it together. It was a family project, and
then moving on to when Wisdom to Live By became published. Those days we were ordering like 500 boxes of 500 at a time, and that particular shipment was on a train wreck. And so Gregory was in college then, but he came over and he, 3 or 4 times a week every box and pulled out every damaged one so that we could send back the damaged ones to the insurance. We didn't get replacements, but he handled every single wisdom to live by.
And when we first started the centenaries, when a new shipment would come in, and that's when we were doing subscriptions to those, we'd, in the basement of our bookstore, we'd unbox the new ones, and then here's our list of subscribers, and
Wrap them up with paper.
when we have an assembly line of all 5 of us, and taking the book and wrapping it, and addressing it, and there it goes. And it would, our bookstore was very much a family enterprise. And
You also number stamped them.
we
Yes.
did. So,
I didn't really prepare any remarks, but yeah, probably the later centenaries, a lot of those, the assembly line had kind of fallen apart, and a lot of those were me in the basement with the paper and the stamp and the mailing list with the labels that probably had some of your names on them.
Yes.
And, I spent a lot of, that was kind of my college summer job, was boxing up centenaries, which was actually kind of fun. You know, it was.
well, they all
You got to handle beautiful books.
They all worked in the bookstore, so I don't know, the books, having a Christian bookstore was such an interesting mix, because I wrote at the counter of the bookstore with my typewriter, and the cash register here, and my typewriter here, and they all worked selling books, and then we sent out books. They watched me write books. They helped. Even the writing of the books was kind of a family affair. We brainstormed together, and I'd give so and so a chapter to write, and then rewrite it. It was so it's very fulfilling to me that they didn't hate writing and they love writing.
One thing that I've kind of thought of as I've heard a lot of the remarks this morning and last night, a lot of you, including you, have talked about how George MacDonald changed you, and how discovering MacDonald, changed your outlook on the world, or gave you a new perspective on things. And interestingly for me, I feel like George MacDonald's theology and worldview and characters, since it was with me from the cradle, literally, I grew up with that theology and worldview being part of what formed me. Because for perspective, when The Fisherman's Lady came out, I was 5. So, there was never a time that I was not aware of George MacDonald and his work and his stories. And so it's an interesting perspective of having grown up with that.
Robin wrote a thing, and he sent it to me, I think just yesterday. It's funny. It was just kind of his, but he didn't want me to share it publicly. I'll just share it with one part. It was over a page or two, and it was about his kind of perspective of the Cullen collection and this work that I've been engaged in the last couple of years. I don't know if you'll want to say anything. Oh, you were going to interview me, right, about my influences. And at the end of it, he said, when he first told, I don't know if he was embellishing this, when he first told me about this, I thought my dad was crazy at his age to be tackling such a big problem.
And he added, and he was careful not to volunteer to help.
He must have talked to Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, when I write, and if I get 2 hours of writing done in a day, I'm good. And he was like getting up at 3 and putting in 14-hour days. I was like, man, this is crazy. It's 6 million words, checking 500,000 commas. Then, oh, by the way, I'm also going to do new 600-page biography of MacDonald. And I was like, this is crazy. But I guess he pulled it off. Yeah, I can't remember when I first heard of George MacDonald, but I remember there was a moment when I first realized my dad was an author. So I used to go and in the bookstore, they had a children's section, and they had a nice couch. I'm sure Gregory remembers it. I would just spend hours in the children's section and reading on the couch. And one day I got up to stretch, and I wandered out of that section and came across a big shelf of my dad's books, and I was like, whoa, that's my dad's name. I didn't know he had books. And I was like, I actually literally took one and went and showed one of the employees, look, that's my dad's name, isn't that cool? And they couldn't quite appreciate my point, but they did. It was like that was the moment I realized that he wrote books. And then as I grew older, I came to have an appreciation of the George MacDonald stories, and I wanted to get them on audiobook so I can listen to them when I clean my room. And so I tracked down, I like to research even back then, so I tracked down this obscure organization that produced cassette tapes for blind people. And I wrote to the person that ran it and said, hey, I'm not blind, but my dad edited these books, so can I borrow some of the tapes? And so I would listen to the books while I cleaned my room. And I kind of took MacDonald for granted as well, but as I grew older, I saw all the people who were helped by them. People would come to Eureka, and even more people would write letters, and many of the letters our parents would read out during meal times. People sharing how his spiritual vision had transformed their lives and how their families had been helped by MacDonald. And so it really touched me how many people have been impacted by his spiritual vision. And that's why we're here, because all of us have been touched in some way by MacDonald.